The doll that blinks when you're not looking. A little girl named Lily was out with her mother in the mall when she saw something shocking. She saw a street vendor selling dolls. These were not normal dolls, though. They were antique dolls that looked like they had come straight out of a horror movie. Their eyes were blank, soulless, and creepy. But the most frightening part was that they moved. One of them even winked at Lily. "Mom, can we get one?" she asked hopefully. Her mom felt a shiver go down her spine. "Absolutely not," she replied quickly. The last thing she wanted was for their house to be haunted by a creepy doll. But Lily started crying. She really wanted one of those dolls. So her mom gave in and bought her one. When they got home, Lily put the doll in her room. It was an old doll. Its clothes were torn and its hair was matted. But Lily didn't care. She loved it. She named it Winky because it had seemed to wink at her in the store. Every night before bed, Lily would talk to Winky. She told it all of her secrets and she sang its songs. One night, after Lily had gone to bed, her dad went into her room to check on her. But he couldn't help but notice the doll sitting on her bed. It looked creepy. He could have sworn that he saw one of its eyes move. But when he looked again, it was just his imagination, right? One night, Lily woke up to what sounded like screams in the middle of the night. She was too scared to get out of bed, so she turned on her lamp and looked around. But everything seemed fine. Then she noticed something strange. The doll was sitting on the edge of her bed, staring at her with its blank eyes. Lily screamed and threw the covers over her head. When she peeked out from under the blankets, she saw that the doll was gone. Maybe she had just imagined it, she thought. But then she heard footsteps coming up the stairs. Lily got out of bed and walked to her door to peer through the keyhole. She saw the scariest thing she had ever seen in her life. It was the doll, but how was it moving on its own? It was coming closer and closer. Then suddenly, the door burst open and Winky fell onto the floor. Lily screamed again and ran away. She didn't want to be caught by the doll. She ran into the bathroom and locked the door. She could hear the doll dragging itself closer and closer, its footsteps getting louder and louder. And then she heard a knock on the door. "Lily, let me in," said a raspy voice. It was Winky's voice. "I just want to play with you." Lily started crying. She didn't want to play with the doll. She wished her mom and dad would come save her. But they were probably fast asleep. She was all alone. And then suddenly, the lights turned on and the bathroom door burst open. Standing in the doorway was Winky. It was covered in scratches and its clothes were torn. "Winky," whispered Lily. It must have gotten out of her room while she wasn't looking. But Winky didn't reply. Instead, it lunged at her. Lily screamed and tried to run away, but it was too late. Winky had grabbed her ankle and was dragging her out of the bathroom. Lily pulled her foot back, but it was no use. Winky wouldn't let her go. "Help me," cried Lily, but no one answered. She was all alone. As Winky dragged her out of the bathroom, Lily tripped and fell. She looked back and saw Winky standing over her with a twisted smile on its face. "It's time to play now," said Winky, but Lily didn't want to play. She tried to stand up, but Winky yanked on her dress, pulling her back down to the floor. "No," she cried, but Winky didn't listen. It picked Lily up and carried her to her room. When it set her down, Lily ran to the door and hid behind it. She could hear Winky moving around in her room, getting closer and closer. Then, suddenly, the door handle started to turn. "No," whispered Lily, but it was too late. The door opened and Winky stepped out. Its eyes were glowing red and it had a cruel smile on its face. "I'm not gonna hurt you," said Winky. "I just want to be your friend." But Lily knew that Winky was lying. It wanted to hurt her. She could tell by the evil glint in its eye. Lily backed away from the doll, but there was nowhere for her to go. Winky took a step closer and Lily screamed. She tried to run, but she tripped and fell. Winky came closer still. "Please," whispered Lily, but Winky didn't listen. It reached out and grabbed her arm. "Let me go," she cried, but Winky wouldn't budge. It pulled Lily to her feet and started to dance around the room. "Do you want to dance with me?" it asked, but Lily shook her head. She didn't want to dance. She tried to break free of Winky's grasp, but it was no use. Winky was too strong. Then, suddenly, Lily's mom burst into the room. "What's going on here?" she asked. She could see that Lily was struggling to free herself from Winky's grip. "Mom, help me," cried Lily. "This doll is trying to kill me," but her mom didn't believe her. She thought that Lily was just being a little girl. "Don't be silly," she said. "A doll can't hurt you." Then she turned to Winky. "You better let her go," she said. Now, Winky seemed to hesitate for a moment. Then it dropped Lily and backed away. "All right," it said, "but this isn't over." With that, it turned and ran out of the room. Lily's mom rushed to her side. "Are you okay?" she asked. "Yeah," replied Lily. "Thanks, Mom." She knew that her mom would never believe her about the doll, so she didn't even bother trying to explain. But she also knew that Winky wasn't done with her yet. Later that night, after her mom had gone to sleep, Lily got into bed. She was scared to be alone in the dark, so she turned on her night light. Then she noticed something strange. Winky was sitting on the edge of her bed. It was smiling at her with its creepy grin. "Winky," whispered Lily. She was scared, but she tried to sound brave. "What do you want?" But Winky didn't reply. Instead, it lunged at her. Lily screamed and threw her arms up to protect her face. But it was too late. Winky had scratched her. "Mom!" cried Lily, but no one answered. She was all alone. Then she heard the sound of footsteps coming up the stairs. She turned to look and saw Winky standing at the end of her bed. "Run," it said. "It's time to play," Lily screamed and tried to run away, but Winky was too quick for her. It grabbed her and pulled her to the floor. Then suddenly the door burst open. Lily's dad stood in the doorway. "Get away from my daughter," he yelled. Winky looked at him and smiled. "Oh, I was just playing with her," it said innocently. "But I think it's time for me to go now." With that, it vanished into thin air. Lily's dad rushed to her side. "Are you okay?" he asked. She was shaken, but she was okay. She told her dad about Winky and how it had been tormenting her for days. At first, he didn't believe her, but then he saw the scratches on her arms. He knew that she was telling the truth. "Don't worry," he said. "I'll protect you." But Lily knew that her dad couldn't protect her from Winky. She knew that she would have to protect herself. So the next day, she made a plan. She waited until her mom and dad had gone to work. Then she took Winky to her room. She knew that Winky would try to attack her, but she was ready for it this time. She had armed herself with a wooden stake. When Winky lunged at her, she hammered the stake into its chest. It let out a scream and fell to the ground. Lily kept hammering away until Winky was nothing but splinters. From that day on, Lily never saw Winky again. And although she was happy to be rid of the doll, she would never forget the terror that it had caused her.